booth, barbecue, flow artists, and lots of other goodies. Once again, the 420 Fest will be at Vars Sports Bar, which is located at 2727 North Freeway, Houston, Texas 77009. That's Saturday, April 19th, starting at 4:20 p.m. For more information about Houston Normal, please visit houstonnormal.org.
Hello, Houston, and welcome to the Houston Indie Media News Show. On tonight's show, Satnam Singh Chahal, who is the Executive Director of NAPA, National American Punjabis Association, is going to be joining us to talk about the Punjabi detainees at El Paso. So he's joining us on the phone tonight. Mr. Chahal, are you there with us tonight?
Yes, thank you. Let me correct the name of our association. That is North American Punjabi Association. In short, we call it NAPA, N-A-P-A.
Sorry about that. This is a grassroots organization, so we do everything volunteer run, and so we're just kind of running a little bit on the fly right now. But let's jump right into the conversation.
Thank you for being on the air with us tonight, Mr. Chahal. My first question is, how did you first learn about the Punjabi detainees that are currently being held in El Paso?
First, I let you know that we are serving the community since 5 years. We are helping the community in solving their issues and concerns in foreign countries, in the back room also, and everybody knows we are helping the community, and somebody told to these detainees to contact us. They gave me a call and seeked my help, and that's why I know the whole situation, what is going on there in the prison. How many detainees are from Punjab, which was arrested in different times. Different time means some were arrested in the month of January 2013, and again some were arrested in the month of March 2013, and the third batch was arrested in July 2013. The last batch was arrested on 11th of November 2013. All these people are still there in the prison. Total number is around 100.
So tell me exactly, how did these Punjabi men end up from India to El Paso, and exactly what are they being held on?
Actually, they are coming here to enter the United States for their better future. They started their journey from different airports, and they came en route to Moscow, Nicaragua, Havana, and Guatemala, and Mexico. They stayed here for more than 2 weeks, and exactly they don't know in which city they are staying, because they were forced to stay in one room, and they don't know the name of the city. And when they entered the U.S. border, they were arrested and kept in the El Paso jail.
Okay, and as of Wednesday, it was confirmed by the Hindu.com that 37 people were on hunger strike, and also recently you've been credited saying that a few have possibly been hospitalized and that ICE is currently considering forced feedings. Is there any update on their condition or the number of current hunger strikers?
Yes, I have all the updates. They were on the hunger strike for 1 week, and a few of them, they called off the hunger strike, and couple of people, they continue for one more day hunger strike. But when we interfere and we advise them not to continue your hunger strike, they called off the hunger strike. Yes, This is true that most of the people, they were admitted in the inside hospital of the prison, and one detainee, his name was Harsimrat Singh. He was shifted to the hospital or outside the prison for treatment, but he is also good right now, and there is no health issue at this time of any detainees.
So just to confirm, as far as you know, everybody is currently in good condition.
Yeah, everybody is okay right now.
Okay, that's good.
We hear a lot about immigrants from South America being detained by ICE, such as the Corley hunger strike that we've been covering. But I'm wondering, how common is it for Asian immigrants to be detained coming to the United States? And, what is the policy, what is the difference that United States has for Asian countries and South American countries?
Actually, this was my first experience to deal with this kind of situation. But when I'm dealing right now, I'm going through the past, what was happening with others communities, and I'm reading a lot of stories about Mexican people, about other communities. They are doing this kind of hunger strike in the past, and this kind of situation was arising out in the past also. This is not the new case, and but this is my first experience to deal with this kind of situation. Before, I never know that this is happening in the U.S. Prisons, but right now I listen a lot of stories. I'm reading a lot of stories about these kinds of arrests and hunger strikes in the prisons.
And a lot of these hunger strikes do end up in a response by the state of force feeding, and you've pointed out that the UN considers force feeding to be torture. Would you like to speak a little more on that point?
Yeah, this actually UN is considering force feeding is the torture, but they also try to force, jail authorities also try to force to feed, to force to these detainees to eat something, but we also, but they not listen to the jail authorities, but we as a human being and just knowing the situation of the case, we advise them not to go ahead for the hunger strike. Anything can happen to their life. And the second thing, we advise them, as per law of the land, if they will continue and the jail authorities will think that the health of any detainee is going to be worse, they can move them to the hospital, and there they can treat, they can feed them anything, and their hunger strike will be called off that way. That's why we advise them not to continue and to discontinue your hunger strike, and we are here to fight for their cases. We are trying to fight, and a lot of attorneys, they are helping us to get their payrolls as soon as possible.
A situation as this makes the need for immigration reform very apparent. How would you like to see this country's immigration system changed?
Today I was reading some articles that it is the law of the land to release those people who don't have any kind of criminal background, and after checking their background or identity, they should be released on payroll. But ICE is not following its own rule. We are wondering why they are not following in this case, especially. Before, they were following this all kind of case. They were checking the identity of the detainee, and they were checking that their criminal background. If they found everything okay, they were giving the payroll and releasing them. And the next, the court was taking its own course. What the law says, the court decides whether the detainee should stay here, the detainee should go back. This is up to the court what to do with the detainees. This is not the ICE to decide the detainee can stay here and should go back.
Do you have any idea of a time frame on that decision?
I cannot say, but I am expecting something will happen in the next week.
That's really good to hear. To move on, you've been credited with saying that Punjabi people are highly attracted to immigrate to more affluent countries and thus easy victims of human traffickers. Why do you think that's the case?
Maybe you will also be aware that Punjabi people, I can say Punjabi youth, everybody is trying to run towards European countries for their better future. And there is no source of employment. People are unemployed. They don't have any job to do there. That's why they are running. And the travel agents, they are exploiting these people. They are taking too much money from them, and they are promising a lot of things. They will get the jobs, they will settle them like this, but nothing is happening. And the travel agent, they are just leaving them at their own mercy, and they are not even attending where they are staying, what kind of problem they have, in which situation they are passing. Nobody is caring. Yes, they are taking the money and leaving them at their own mercy.
It's very cruel. What actions are you taking against these travel and immigration agents or these traffickers that have lured young men, such as the ones that we're talking about, to their eventual detainment?
Yesterday, I also have a telephone talk with the chairman, who is a retired judge of High Court, Mr. Arvind Kumar. I told him that the government of Punjab must take some kind of serious action against those travel agents who have taken a lot of money from the young people. And we will coordinate with the Punjab government, we will coordinate with the Punjab police to arrest these kinds of travel agents, and also we will do our best to recover all the amounts what they have taken from the youth. But it will take time. You know, our Indian system is not too fast to get the justice. But it will take time, but I'm sure that we will be able to recover the money of the youth from these travel agents. And we will also put them behind the bars so that in future nobody will dare to do this kind of act.
Well, hopefully justice does get served. What do you think the situation says about the current state of both India and the United States, and I guess in the context of global issues such as income inequality, poverty, and human rights abuses?
Actually, human rights abuses is in all the countries, but this is different from country to country, and there are different figures of human rights violations. And here I can say the United States is known as the protector of human rights, and they should come forward to protect what they say. But in this case, there is a lot of human rights violation, and it should be avoided, it should be protected. That's why we are approaching again and again to the ICE authorities not to violate the human rights of any individuals or any collectively.
So finally, as we're wrapping up, could you let our audience know how they can help, and what do you want them to take away from what they've just heard today?
First of all, at this stage, we need the support, the moral support of the community. We don't need any kind of money from anybody to help us out. The only thing we need, if somebody has any kind of political approach, any kind of legal approach, then they can help us, and we need this kind of help. If anybody any organization can provide us.
What is your contact information, please?
Anybody can give me a call at 408-221-5732. Again, 408-221-5732. And my fax number is 408-547-0522. And my email, yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
My email address is media, MEDIA, at TNAPA, T like Tom, H Henry, E elephant, N Nancy, A apple, P Paul, A apple, .com.
We'll definitely put links to more information and to the website on our Indie Media Facebook page. Satnam Singh Chahal, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, and your interview, I guess, will help us a lot too. Thank you very much.
Hopefully we can get Mr. Chahal back on the air once this issue gets solved, so we can get an update on this issue once it gets resolved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chahal.
All right, and now we're going to go to some stuff from the International Middle Eastern Media Center.org. That's IMEMC.org. This is This Week in Palestine, and you can find more audio like this on their website.
Welcome to This Week in Palestine, a service of the International Middle East Media Center, www.imemc.org, for April 12th to the 18th, 2014. Palestinian and Israeli negotiators met this week. Still, talks bear no fruits. Meanwhile, on the ground, Israeli army attacks left a Palestinian woman dead and another worker injured. These stories and more coming up. Stay tuned. Let's begin our weekly report as usual with the nonviolent activities organized in the West Bank. 5 civilians were injured, many others were treated for the effects of tear gas inhalation when Israeli troops attacked anti-wall and settlement protests organized at a number of West Bank communities on Friday. IMEMC's Majid Bajali has more.
In central West Bank, protests were organized at the village of Bil'ain, Na'lin and Al-Nabi Saleh. Also, protests were organized in southern West Bank village of Al-Ma'sara near Bethlehem. Israeli soldiers attacked anti-wall and settlements protesters in Al-Nabi Saleh before even leaving the village. Many protesters were hit with the rubber-coated steel bullets fired by troops. Later, soldiers also invaded the village and fired tear gas at residents' homes. Many were treated from the effects of tear gas inhalation. In the nearby Bil'ain and Na'lin villages, residents and their supporters reached the Israeli wall, built on lands taken from local farmers before soldiers stationed there showered them with tear gas and chemical water that generate bad smell. One youth was hit by a rubber-coated steel bullet, while many were treated from the effects of tear gas inhalation. Elsewhere, at Al-Ma'sara village on Friday, Israeli troops stopped the villagers and their supporters at village entrance, then forced them back using rifle butts and batons to push people back. No injuries were reported. For IMEMC News, this is Majid Bajali.
Palestinian and Israeli negotiators failed this week to reach an agreement before their U.S.-mediated peace negotiations reach a deadline of the end of this month. IMEMC's Ram al-Mighari has the story.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas met this week in Ramallah with a number of leftist Israelis. Abbas outlined reasons for both sides' failure to reach an agreement. Among them was Israel's failure to release 24 of Palestinian detainees agreed upon via American mediation back in July of last year. He also blamed Israel for not living up with halt of settlement activities on occupied lands, including in East Jerusalem and the West Bank. Palestinian Authority's president had earlier signed a series of agreements with international organizations belonging to United Nations and signaled the intention to submit the problem with Israel to United Nations organs. Israel, from its part, blamed the Palestinian Authority for signing the agreements and affirmed willingness to negotiate with a PA without conditions, something that Palestinians have rejected. Palestinians and Israelis, along with American mediator, agreed to resume negotiations last June towards an envisioned two-state solution for Israel and Palestinians. Boundaries of a future Palestinian state should be West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza Strip. In the Gaza Strip, Palestinian Prime Minister of Hamas Ismail Haniyeh voiced out wish for an accelerated conciliation drive between his Islamist party and Fatah party of the US-backed President Mahmoud Abbas. Haniyeh gave orders to allow a Fatah-led delegation to enter the coastal territory for conciliation talks. Meanwhile, Hamas's prominent leader in Gaza, Mahmoud al-Zahar, called on Abbas to quit negotiations with Israel. Hamas and Fatah have been in a split since 2007, as each party adopts a different political platform from the other. For IMC News, I am Rami Al-Mighari in Gaza.
This week, Israeli army attacks targeting Palestinian communities in the West Bank and Gaza left 1 killed and nearly 60 injured. IMEMC's Iman Abdrabbu Bannura reports.
During the week, the Israeli army conducted at least 62 invasions in the Palestinian communities in the West Bank. During these attacks, Israeli troops kidnapped at least 22 Palestinians, including 2 children. On Monday night, 40-year-old Nuha Katamish died at Bethlehem City Hospital in southern West Bank after inhaling tear gas fired by Israeli troops. Katamish was suffering from a severe case of allergy. Her respiratory system failed when soldiers fired tear gas into and around her home at Aida refugee camp in Bethlehem City, local sources reported. On Sunday night, troops injured a young youth in Aida and then kidnapped him. Elsewhere, Israeli troops and a group of settlers attacked Monday morning Palestinian workers who were constructing agricultural roads in Burin village, south of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. Settlers were protected by Israeli soldiers, local sources reported. The settlers came from the nearby legal settlement of Bracha. On Tuesday, Israeli soldiers placed a full siege on the town of Idna, near Hebron, and initiated a large-scale search campaign that targeted dozens of homes and stores in the town. Local sources reported that the army attack started on Monday evening after an Israeli settler was shot and killed, and 3 others were injured near the town. No Palestinian group claimed responsibility for the attack. In Jerusalem, at least 40 Palestinians were injured, another 6 kidnapped by Israeli troops who stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque on Wednesday. Clashes erupted inside the holy site after troops attacked Palestinian worshippers with live gunfire and tear gas, local sources reported. The Israeli troops were protecting Israeli right-wing radicals who entered the Muslim holy site to conduct prayers there. In the Gaza Strip this week, a Palestinian worker was shot and injured on Tuesday near the Israeli Erez crossing at the northern borders of the Gaza Strip. Local sources announced that the man was working in the lands close to the borders when troops manning military watchtowers opened fire at him. He was moved to a hospital after sustaining moderate wounds. Later in the week, 3 people killed and 5 injured in a blast in the city of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip on Wednesday. The Ministry of the Interior of Gaza's deposed government said that the blast was caused by a fire that broke out in a house. 4 of the injured were firemen who arrived at the scene to provide help. For IMEMC News, this is Iman Abdrabbu Bannura.
And that's all for today from This Week in Palestine. This was the weekly report for April 12th to the 18th, 2014 from the occupied Palestinian territories. For more news and updates, please visit our website at www.imemc.org. This week's report has been brought to you by George Shmawi and me, Bassam Bannura.
Hi, I'm Jack R. Johnson, and this is Hidden Histories. Most people don't know who Senator Gaylord Nelson was, but you can't go across the street without bumping into someone who recognizes the term Earth Day, which just happens to be today, April 22nd. So give Senator Nelson his due. He was the fellow that had Earth Day passed into law. Responding to widespread environmental degradation, Gaylord Nelson, a United States Senator from Wisconsin, called for an environmental teach-in, or Earth Day, to be held on April 22nd, 1970. According to Tim Brown, over 20 million people participated that year, and Earth Day is now observed each year on April 22nd by more than 500 million people and national governments in over 175 different countries. Earth Day was conceived by Nelson after a trip he took to Santa Barbara right after an horrific oil spill off the California coast in 1969. Union Oil's Platform A, 6 miles off the California coast, had a blowout. Over a 10-day period, an estimated 80,000 to 100,000 barrels of crude oil spilled into the channel and onto the beaches of Santa Barbara County in Southern California, following the coastline in all 4 of the northern Channel Islands. Senator Nelson was so outraged by what he saw, the oil-slicked beach, the dead gulls, and the Pacific blackened almost to the horizon, that he went back to Washington and passed a bill designating April 22nd as a national day to celebrate the Earth. Many conservative critics argue that April 22nd is an especially inappropriate date because it happens to be the birth date of Vladimir Lenin. However, as Senator Gaylord Nelson has pointed out, the world's first environmentalist was also born on April 22nd, St. Francis of Assisi. It is also the birthday of Julius Sterling Morton, the founder of Arbor Day, a national tree planting holiday started in 1872. This is Jack R. Johnson for Hidden Histories, wishing you an happy Earth Day.
So you just heard Hidden Histories. You can catch more of that at radio4all.net. That's the word radio, the number 4, all.net. There's tons of grassroots content on there. It's uploaded and updated daily. So be sure to check that out. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed our interview. This is V signing off, reminding everyone out there, don't hate the media, be the media. Peace.
That's Rattletree Marimba, who will join Los Guerreros de la Música, Ocean Roots, HISD, New York City Queens, and the Free Radicals Second Line in a day filled with live music at the Houston Peace Festival. It's a day of fun, information, networking, and celebration. The Peace Festival will be on Saturday, April 26th from 12:30 to 8 p.m. at the Live Oak Friends Meeting House located at 1318 West 26th Street in the Heights. Visit with people from peace, justice, and environmental groups. A variety of food and children's activities will be available, with more hands-on activities than ever before. Drumming and marimba workshops, performance art, and Poopy Lung Stuffing's puppet show. In case of bad weather, the activities will move inside. For exhibitor and vendor information, plus more details,